everyone, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the Ohuhu brush tip alcohol markers, and I'm going to be showcasing them using the Not2Shabby Tea Time Buddies stamp set, which was part of their latest release. Super cute. You can use it for tea or coffee, lots of critters and cuteness. So here are the alcohol markers from Ohuhu. These are the brush tip. I have the 72 pack. They recently came out with the 120 and they also have a 48 pack. And I'll talk a little bit more about the markers while I'm coloring, but these actually have a brush tip similar to a Copic marker. So I wanted to use the markers to show you that there is a great alternative for brush tip alcohol markers on the market if Copics aren't something that you are interested in investing in. But first, let's start with the cards. You can see here I'm stamping out this little trio of teacups here. I did cut out a mask using some Gina K masking paper, and I'm going to stack these 3 times. So I wanted to start from the top because the image that you stamp first will be to the forefront. So you want to make sure with something like this where you're creating a tower, you want to start from the top and work your way to the bottom. And I only needed 1 mask, so I can just easily take that up and cover my second stamping here. And with my finger, I was just showing you that I'm trying to line up the inside of the cup line to the bottom line of the cups. Now this one at the bottom is the trickiest because I wanted the cups to be straight on the bottom like they're actually standing, so I did have to play with that a little bit. It's not perfect, but it gives me the look that I was going for. So I'm just going to stamp that a couple times, remove that mask, and show you our panel that we're going to be coloring. So jumping into the coloring, I'm doing 2 color combinations today. I wanted to show you that even with a smaller set, such as the 72 or the 48, you can get some really good blending. So I'm going to use a darker and a lighter marker from the same color family. And as always in my videos, I have the marker caps to the left-hand side of the screen, and they go from darkest at the top to lightest at the bottom. So super easy for you to follow along. So my darkest for the T is going to be BR1, and then I'm going to blend that out with the BR2. I decided to go ahead and start after that with the areas that I wanted white. So I want white accents on all of my little teacups here. So I'm using the CG2 and the CG00, and then I'm using the Colorless Blender marker, which is a bonus marker in all of the Ohuhu alcohol marker sets. So that's great. So you actually get the bonus on top of whichever number set you choose. I'm just going to blend these out and talk a little bit about price. So we know with Copic markers they can range anywhere from $5, I would say, to $8 a marker. I just went on Amazon and all of these markers will be listed below. The 120 set, which is their newest release, currently sells for $99.99, which is about 83 cents a marker. The 72 set that I have is $69.99, and so that works out to about 97 cents a marker. And right now the 48, if you just want to try or have a smaller set on hand, is on sale for $34.49, which is 73 cents a marker, and regular price is $39.99, which is 83 cents a marker. So super affordable. I am using these quite a bit. I am enjoying them. I love the softness of the brush tip. It has a very nice sharp peak, so you can get into really tiny areas. And you're going to see I'm going to have some videos coming up where I'm using these markers more because I want to show you that affordable alcohol markers can achieve a similar look to more expensive type markers. So you can see I'm already moving through the colors here. So I decided to do rainbow teacups because I wanted to give you a sense of some really easy 2-color blending in multiple color families. So I thought this would be the best way to do that. So you can see here, for example, with these greens. I'm using GY4 as my darkest and then GY7 as my lightest. Now to get more contrast, I'll often come back once that dries a little bit and add that darker color you can see like I'm doing now. And it really takes the coloring up a notch just with those two colors. So for this particular one, I did decide I needed a little bit of a darker color, so I brought in the GY4. I just wasn't getting enough of a contrast. And so this is my cheater one where I had 3 colors, but I believe all the rest are only 2. So for this teal aqua color, I'm doing G5 and G9. So you can see here, I'm working that darkest color, blending it out with the lightest, just making sure to avoid those areas that I want white. And look at the great contrast I get between that darker color and the lighter color. And then again, just adding in that darkest color to add that shading even more. So this is another variation of an aqua color. I'm using the BG5 and the PB10. Now the numbering system for these markers don't really make a lot of sense to me, so I don't pay much attention to that, but I just wanted to have them for you so you know which colors often blend well together. So moving on to the blue, just doing the same thing. My darkest marker is the PB8 and then the lightest is the PB7. I am just going to do a little bit of tip-to-tip technique here, touching that lightest marker to the darkest marker to get a smooth blend. So that's a good tip too if some of the markers are a little bit far apart in terms of the colors. You can just add that tip-to-tip and that will actually give you a third color to help with your blending. Now purples can often be tricky to blend. I'm using the P2 as the darkest and the P3. So you can see here again, I'm using that tip to tip and it really makes a huge difference when I'm blending to get that kind of medium color from the darkest to lightest because these two are quite far apart in color. But it works out beautifully. So moving on to my last color, I'm using pinks. I do feel like in the 72 set there isn't really enough pink colors that I would like. They're really bright colors and it would be nice to have a more muted one, but I'm going to fix that here and I'll show you how. So I'm using the RP1 and the R10. Again, just adding that darkest one a second time, blending that out. And here I wanted to add some grounding or shadows just to make it look like they were actually standing on something. So I'm going to bring in some C markers here. Now in the end, I really don't like how this turned out. So I ended up fussy cutting out my little image here. And you can see here, I'm bringing in this R12. I wanted to mute back that bright pink. And once it dries, it's really pretty. So it kind of gives me a more dull pink color, which I really liked. So I did have to fix up the bottom of my teacup here with a white gel pen where I had some of that gray marker from before. Usually there's a quick fix to anything. So try new things, and if you don't like it, you can always change things up, which is what I did here with this card. Originally, I thought it was going to be a 1-layer card, but fussy cut this out, and I ended up adding some foam adhesive to the back of this, so it will actually be raised off the card panel. This actually worked out better in the end as well, because I could get my teacups a little bit more straight to the bottom of the card there, and then having them leaning up towards the top. I decided to add the little tea bag from the set up near the top of the cups, and I used the same pink markers as I did for that final cup there for the heart on the little tea bag. And now I can go ahead and stamp my sentiment. The sentiment that I chose is "You're a Sweetie," which I thought was really cute, and I love just having my sentiments tucked in there by the image. Added that on to some polka dot black and white paper that's from an old collection from MFT, and just adding some white gel pen details to my images here just to add a little bit of interest. Once I do that, I'm just going to show you a close-up. I did decide to add some of my Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen to the white areas just to give them a little bit of glitter. And a little bit of ink on my cards. I'm just using a white eraser, and here's a look with the Ohuhu brush tip alcohol markers with some simple 2-color blending. So I hope that gives you some ideas for some color blends if you have these markers. If you do have them, let me know down in the comments below how you like them. It also helps out other people if they're thinking about purchasing them. So thanks everybody. Links are listed below. I will see you really soon. Take care. Bye.